The Washington Commanders, a new name, a fresh start. The rebranding was more than just a cosmetic change. It symbolized a break from the past and a hopeful future. After decades under the controversial ownership of Daniel Snyder, a new era began in the nation's capital with the arrival of Josh Harris. Harris, known for his successful ventures in sports, brought a breath of fresh air. The sale, a record-breaking $6.05 billion deal, brought a collective sigh of relief from long-suffering fans. It was a moment of celebration and renewed hope. Harris, a successful businessman with a track record in sports ownership, represented hope. His previous successes suggested he could turn the Commanders into a competitive team. Hope for a winning culture, financial stability, and a renewed sense of pride in the franchise. Fans envisioned a future where the Commanders could once again be a powerhouse in the NFL. Harris's first order of business? Addressing the elephant in the room, the team's outdated stadium. FedEx Field had long been a point of contention among fans and critics alike. FedEx Field, once a symbol of promise, had become a source of frustration. The aging infrastructure and lackluster facilities were in dire need of an upgrade. Harris promised a fan-centric approach, vowing to explore all options for a state-of-the-art stadium that would revitalize the game day experience. He aimed to create a venue that fans could be proud of. The ownership change sent ripples throughout the league, signaling a potential power shift in the NFC East. Rival teams took notice of the new leadership and the potential for a revitalized Commanders team. The arrival of new leadership brought a renewed sense of optimism to Washington. Fans, who had endured years of disappointment, now had a reason to believe in a brighter future. Fans, starved for a winner, dared to dream again. The energy and excitement were palpable as the community rallied behind the team. The Harris era promised a departure from the dysfunction and mediocrity that had plagued the franchise. It was a commitment to excellence and a vision for sustained success. It was a chance to rebuild not just a team, but a connection with the city and its passionate fan base. The Commanders aimed to become a source of pride for Washington once more. This was more than just a change in ownership, it was a cultural reset. A new chapter was being written, one filled with hope, ambition, and the promise of a brighter future for the Washington Commanders. The 2024 season, the first under Harris's ownership, was a mixed bag, filled with highs and lows that kept fans on the edge of their seats. It was a year of transition, of evaluating the roster and establishing a new identity. The team underwent significant changes both on and off the field as they sought to redefine themselves. The Commanders finished the regular season with a 9-8 record, showcasing flashes of brilliance but also struggling with consistency. Each game was a test of their resilience and adaptability. Young quarterback Sam Howell showed promise, his cannon arm and mobility offering glimpses of his potential. He became a focal point for the team's future aspirations. However, his inexperience also led to costly mistakes. These moments of struggle were learning opportunities for Howell and the entire team. The defense, anchored by Chase Young and Jonathan Allen, remained a force to be reckoned with, keeping the Commanders in games even when the offense sputtered. Their leadership on the field was invaluable. Despite the up-and-down season, there were reasons for optimism. The team showed glimpses of what they could become with more experience and cohesion. The Commanders battled hard in every game, displaying a resilience that had been absent in previous years. Their determination was evident in every play. The team's never-say-die attitude, exemplified by several come-from-behind victories, resonated with fans. These moments of triumph brought the community together. The 2024 season may not have culminated in a division title or a deep playoff run, but it laid the foundation for future success. The groundwork was set for what could be a promising future. The team had a young, talented core, a respected coaching staff, and most importantly, a renewed sense of purpose. The future looked bright for the Washington Commanders. The Commanders, sneaking into the playoffs as a wildcard team, faced a formidable opponent in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The odds were stacked against them, but they were determined to prove everyone wrong. Tom Brady, the ageless wonder, stood in their way. His experience and skill made him a daunting adversary. The Buccaneers, playing in front of their home crowd, were heavily favored to advance. The atmosphere was electric, with fans confident in their team's success. The game was a back-and-forth affair, a tense battle that went down to the wire. Each play was crucial, and both teams fought fiercely for every yard. Washington's defense, playing with inspired intensity, managed to contain Brady and the Buccaneers' high-powered offense. Their relentless pressure was key to keeping the game close. With the game tied and the clock winding down, Sam Howell orchestrated a masterful drive, leading the Commanders into field goal range. His poise under pressure was remarkable for such a young quarterback. The kick sailed through the uprights as time expired, sending the Washington sideline and the smattering of Commanders fans in attendance into a frenzy. It was a moment of pure elation and disbelief. The upset victory, a testament to the team's resilience and never-say-die spirit, sent shockwaves throughout the league. It was a defining moment for the franchise. The win over Tampa Bay was more than just a playoff victory, it was a statement. It showed that the Commanders were a force to be reckoned with. The Commanders, once considered an easy out, had announced their arrival as a legitimate contender. Their journey was far from over, but this win marked the beginning of something special. The long-running saga of the Washington Commanders stadium situation continued to unfold. FedEx Field, once hailed as a state-of-the-art facility, had become a symbol of the franchise's decline. Its outdated amenities, inconvenient location, and exorbitant parking fees had alienated fans. Josh Harris, true to his word, made the stadium a top priority. He engaged in discussions with local officials, exploring potential sites in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Each location presented its own set of advantages and challenges, from transportation access to economic incentives. The stadium issue remained a complex puzzle. Finding a location that met the needs of the team, fans, and local communities proved to be a daunting task. Harris, however, remained committed to finding a solution, understanding that a new stadium was crucial to the long-term success of the franchise. Section 5. Building a contender draft, free agency, and beyond. With the NFL draft and free agency approaching, the Commanders had an opportunity to build upon their playoff appearance and address areas of need. The team held valuable draft capital, including a high first-round pick, which they could use to select a franchise cornerstone or package in a trade. The Commanders' front office, led by General Manager Martin Mayhew, faced several key decisions. Should they prioritize bolstering the offensive line to protect Sam Howell, or adding playmakers to surround their young quarterback? Should they target a shutdown cornerback to complement their already formidable defensive line? The upcoming offseason presented both opportunities and challenges for the Commanders. With a shrewd approach to free agency and the draft, they could add the missing pieces to contend for a division title and make a deep playoff run. Section 6. Reconnecting with the faithful community and fan relations. One of Josh Harris's primary objectives upon assuming ownership was to rebuild the fractured relationship between the team and its fan base. Decades of mismanagement and off-field controversies had eroded the trust and goodwill that once existed. Harris understood that the Commanders' success, both on and off the field, was dependent on re-engaging with the community. He implemented a series of initiatives aimed at making the team more accessible and fan-friendly. Town hall meetings, meet and greets with players, and discounted ticket programs were just some of the ways Harris tried to reconnect with the fan base. The process of rebuilding trust takes time, but the early returns were positive. Fans appreciated Harris's transparency, his willingness to listen, and his commitment to putting a competitive product on the field. Section 7. Overcoming obstacles, challenges on the road ahead. Despite the optimism surrounding the franchise, the Washington Commanders still faced significant challenges. The NFC East remained one of the toughest divisions in football, with the Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys perennial contenders. The Commanders' salary cap situation, while not dire, limited their flexibility in free agency. They had to be creative in their pursuit of talent, identifying undervalued players who could contribute immediately. Sustaining success in the NFL is a daunting task. The Commanders, despite their recent playoff appearance, were still a team in transition. Navigating the challenges of free agency, the draft, and a demanding schedule would require shrewd decision-making and a little bit of luck. Section 8. The Snyder Shadow, Escaping the Past, Embracing the Future. While the arrival of Josh Harris ushered in a new era for the Washington Commanders, the shadow of Daniel Snyder's tumultuous tenure still lingered. The franchise was still grappling with the fallout from the numerous scandals and investigations that had plagued Snyder's ownership. Harris understood that restoring the team's reputation and rebuilding trust with fans was an ongoing process. It required transparency, accountability, and a genuine commitment to creating a positive and inclusive work environment. The Commanders were taking steps to move forward, but the stain of the Snyder era would not disappear overnight. It was a reminder that true change requires more than just a change in ownership. It demands a fundamental shift in culture and values. Section 9. Hail to the Commanders, a hopeful outlook. Despite the challenges that lay ahead, there was a palpable sense of hope surrounding the Washington Commanders. The arrival of Josh Harris, the team's playoff appearance, and the potential for a new stadium had injected a much-needed dose of optimism into the franchise. The Commanders were a team on the rise, with a young and talented roster, a respected coaching staff, and a committed owner. The pieces were in place for sustained success. The road ahead would not be easy, but the future looked bright in Washington. The Commanders were poised to reclaim their place among the NFL's elite, restoring pride to a franchise and a fan base that had endured years of disappointment.